4, 5, 6.
I didn't touch that. Oops.
Oh. Ooh. We're not matching.
No.
I should have worn my rugby shirt today.
Well, I'm repeating an outfit.
You are?
I've worn this on the show already.
I mean, I've worn this shirt.
I know. That's
I'm
what
always
I'm saying.
outfit repeating. If you're not outfit repeating, what are you doing?
We're ladies of the people.
Yeah.
Also, outfit repeating is very chic, and
yes.
it actually is a thing that builds personal styles when you wear things over and over.
Do you know, I was literally going to say that because my friend Erica, who does listen to this podcast, shout out Erica, she said in a TikTok that sentence yesterday. And I'm not kidding.
Way.
Literally yesterday.
It's my
wow.
It's my
We're
joy de vivre. It's my
I stand by it. Erica and Charlotte, you're correct.
Rewear your clothes, everybody.
Helps create your personal style. I agree.
All right, let's hear how that sounded.
Yep. Hi, Charlotte.
Madeline, hello.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good.
You know, back for another show.
Back for another show.
Another Tuesday, another show.
Another Tuesday, another show. You know what I'm thinking about?
What?
How much of a grand old time we had last Wednesday at the free New York Philharmonic concert in Central Park.
It was an absolute... that was one of the best nights of my life.
Wow.
Not even kidding.
It was pretty fabulous.
For those not familiar, the New York Philharmonic plays a concert in Central Park.
Yeah.
And thousands of people go. It was like a sporting event.
It was. Thousands of people.
And you put a blanket on the ground. We brought a picnic. Oh. You can lie down and stare up at the stars while you listen to Tchaikovsky.
Fabulous.
I mean...
Fabulous. Can I say something, though? I have one complaint.
Yeah, it's a
not
podcast.
A complaint.
I hope you do.
Well, okay.
Oh, a complaint.
I love they handed out programs. Mm-hmm. Programs. And I love the art that was done for the concert.
Yeah.
You can't buy a poster of it.
Oh.
Philharmonic, great way to make some money.
Oh, that's just
sell
easy
some posters.
Money. You're printing money when you print the posters.
Come on, because then I was looking up old ones and cool fonts. Then my husband and I were talking about it. I'm like, where are the posters? Sell them.
What a great point.
Yeah. Anyways, that's my one complaint.
Ever have our own studio?
Yes.
We should put a New York Philharmonic poster in it.
Yes.
Which brings me to another point, Madeline.
What? I can't wait for
this. On Sunday.
Yeah.
Sunday night. It was both the NBA Finals and the Tony Awards, which was very frustrating for me personally because those are two things I love to watch. So we were kind of flipping back and forth for a little while.
Yeah.
But then the Thunder were pulling away. And look, I don't care if it's sacrilegious on a sports podcast. I watched the Tonys instead because the Thunder were just dominating.
So did I.
Ben Stiller.
Yes.
Noted Knicks fan.
Yeah.
He gets on stage to present Best Play.
Yeah.
And he says, quote, "I'm so honored to be here because theater is my passion." Which is like...
I love that.
Graphic design is my passion.
Yeah. It is same energy.
The place where I feel most at home. The stage has been a constant sanctuary for me, dating all the way back to last week when the Knicks lost the Eastern Conference Finals. Ha ha ha. I was told there's a huge crossover between theater lovers and sports fans. He said this sarcastically. The crowd erupted, and I was like, Ben, how dare you?
Ben.
There is a huge overlap between people who like the Tonys and people who like sports, and it is the Sports Gossip Show and our listeners, because I feel like we are not the only ones, and I just had a bone to pick with Ben Stiller about that.
I would 100% agree. When he said that, I was like, wait a second. He doesn't listen to the Sports Gossip Show then.
No.
Come on.
Come on, Ben.
Come on the pod.
A little bit later, we're going to talk about how the Knicks fired Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah.
And we're talking about the New York Philharmonic.
Literally just before we recorded this, we were talking about how I haven't been to Hamilton, and I'm biggest Hamilton head. Hamhead.
And I need to go see it. In your hand.
But I could talk about that. I could talk about Jordan Hudson. I could talk about Jordan Woods. I could talk about all the Jordans. Michael Jordan.
Oh my God.
I don't think there's a Jordan in Hamilton, but there should be. Like an actor.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm sure at some point.
Whatever, anyways. Point being, Ben Stiller, there is a crossover.
We contain multitudes, and
we do.
So do a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
And this is for all of you. So, Ben, look, come on the pod.
Come on the pod.
All we're saying.
Come on the pod.
We can talk about the blocking of Glengarry Glen Ross, which Madeline says she did not like at all.
No, I have a lot of thoughts on it.
We could talk about how I'm trying to go see O'Mary.
So good. You got to see it.
Could also talk about the Knicks. All right.
Yep.
Shall we get into it?
Let's get into it. Oh.
Okay.
Speaking of the Knicks.
Last week, Sorry, this is one of the more insane things.
This is great.
I'm going to tell a little story.
Please.
Last week, we talked about Al Palagonia,
Yes.
who we called Mr. Patagonia,
Yes.
who is the man who sits next to Spike Lee, the film director, at Knicks games.
Yeah.
Did a little clip, put it on social media, talked about how he had been convicted of a white-collar crime,
Yep.
went to jail. The day after we post that clip, I wake up to a bunch of text messages
And a lot of comments and a lot of DMs.
from various people connected to Mr. Palagonia. And I start flipping out because it was like, can you please call Al? Al wants to talk to you. And I said to Matt, I'm like, we're getting sued. This is it.
And then I said to Charlotte, I remember, I went back and listened. I was like, Charlotte, everything we said was accurate and public information. Nothing was bad. I stand by everything we said about Mr. Patagonia.
Well, so this just goes, first of all, I'm paranoid. Anytime anybody that we've talked about reaches out, I'm like, we're going to get sued. Even if it's like, hey, thanks for talking about it. So, but I get an email from his son. He was like, hey, my dad really liked this clip. And I was like, oh, okay. So, that made me feel a little better.
Yeah.
I call Al.
Yeah.
Al is unbelievable.
Incredible.
The most incredible New Yorker storyteller. He told me he did have some corrections. And I told him, Al, I'm going to issue these corrections next week on the podcast.
Yep.
Those corrections, we said that Al hooked Spike Lee up with tickets. That was not true. And I did know that. I got confused in the wording. Spike Lee has had Knicks courtside tickets since 1985.
Yep.
When Patrick Ewing got drafted. But Al hooked him up with his first courtside tickets on the road. Also, Al was incarcerated for 4 years, not 2 years. But after 25 months, he was on a work study program, and he wanted me to say that. He also said prison was the best thing that ever happened to him.
Yep.
He was reading 2 to 3 books a week. It got his mind right. I respect him owning his personal history.
Yep.
We've also invited Al and Mr. Spike Lee to come on the podcast because Al told me some amazing stories.
Yep.
I need to write up an email telling them what that would entail.
Yep.
And then hopefully we can make it happen.
That would be incredible. Come on the pod.
Oh, also he's been in at least 10 or 12 Spike Lee movies, 3 Spike Lee commercials, and NBA 2K16 video game.
Name another podcast that could do that sort of correction.
Because here at the Sports Gossip Show, yes, we talk about gossip.
Yeah.
We also do reporting, and we're not too proud to admit if we get something wrong.
Exactly. All right. So thank you so much, Al, for enjoying the clip. You and Spike can come on the pod anytime.
And I will get that email too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We got a few little updates.
Yes. First of all, can we give a little NBA Finals update?
Yeah.
So the Pacers, as we saw, won game 1.
Yes.
It was a doink. It was a doink adjacent around the world.
They were losing the game up until they didn't have the lead until the last 0.3 seconds.
Yeah.
And then they won the game.
Yeah. One of our friends, LJ Rader, who runs ARPA Make It Sports, did you see his incredible graphic? He always, if you don't know him, he pairs art with moments in sports that are happening in real time, and it's truly incredible. And he doesn't use AI. If you were curious, and it's a graphic. It's like a painting. We'll insert it, but it's like dark, and then there's just like a spike at the end. It looks like probability odds of winning. I think.
Yes,
and it's of that moment, and it is crazy.
I don't know how his mind is a incredible place.
Truly.
Match these paintings with these moments.
Yeah.
So we'll insert that.
That moment, I just couldn't believe
we were flipping out.
I was like, this can't be real.
No.
This can't be real.
Especially because everyone said the Thunder were just going to sweep anybody they played.
Right.
And then the Pacers won the first game.
Yeah.
Second game.
Yeah.
The Thunder did beat them by a lot. Hence
why we're watching the Tonys.
But
yeah.
NHL wise, the Panthers lead the Oilers 2-1, but there was some.
Well, there was some fighting, and maybe there was fighting. Okay, so the Panthers won like 6-1 or something like that. So it was not close. The Oilers, guys, come on. Do something for your country,
Connor
Canada.
McDavid.
It's your
Yeah.
national sport. And you guys, come on, let's get it together.
Let's go.
But it was like they cleared the bench of all the players fighting. It looked like a joke, like how many players were out with their gloves off on the ice.
I was going to say it looked like a parody of a hockey game.
Yeah.
Because,
It did.
and at one point, my favorite part about hockey fighting is, first of all, the fact that it just happens.
Yeah.
There's
it's
no
crazy.
other sport where it's like fighting is a part of it except for like MMA or
Yeah.
boxing, because that's what you're supposed to do. But in hockey, They just fight all the time. But my favorite part of a hockey fight is when everybody has sort of paired off. It's like they're doing a dance.
Yes.
And one guy has another guy pinned to the ground.
Yeah.
And they're just sort of like wriggling a little bit. But so it looks just like there are, 7 guys embracing each other on the ground after the scrum dissipates.
Yes. No, it does. And I also love the fact that the referees,
Yes.
officiator. I should know this.
It's the refs.
The
No,
refs.
You do know
I,
this.
I really,
You know this.
I lost it for a
You
second.
just had a moment.
I questioned myself.
She knows this, everybody.
I'm confident. The refs were standing off to the side on their skates and just hands on the hips, like, no, we're just gonna let this happen.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, it's just part of the game. Like, it just happens.
It's
crazy.
It's just guys being guys.
You want to hear a
Madeline,
fun fact?
It's just
it's
men releasing their inner. Men will literally fight each other on the ice instead of going to therapy.
Yes.
Men will lose a tooth.
Clip it. Yes, they will. They will lose a tooth.
They will lose a
lose
tooth.
multiple teeth.
Yes.
Multiple teeth.
Multiple teeth. And they won't replace them.
No.
Which actually I do respect. I love that hockey
That's
players
unhinged.
don't get veneers.
They look insane. There was one player, I think, for the Panthers. I don't know who the guy is. I should know. And he just had blood coming out of his mouth, and his eyes, he looked just insane.
It's like a horror movie.
Yes, I was like, this man is nuts. Just like, what is going on in that brain?
Yeah.
It compels you to
There's
just
no way
throw
of
off
knowing.
your gloves during your work event.
Truly. Imagine you
fighting
go to a
coworkers.
regional, the final sales event. Who can sell the most stuff? It's narrowed down to 2 regions. And then in the middle of the conference room floor, what's it called? A convention center?
Convention center.
Yeah, and you've got your booth, and guys are just diving over the booth and like strangling each other and like hitting each other with computer equipment. That's what it is, because it's a job. These guys are playing
It's a job. No, it is. It's crazy. You're getting paid to fight for your job, and you're not a UFC fighter. Like, it's like an accessory to your job.
Yeah.
It's a skill you need to have on your resume.
Right. Yes. Your CV.
You're
fighting.
like endorsed for Microsoft Word and fighting.
Come to think of it, I feel like there got to be a few finance trading floors where that's happened, actually.
For sure.
I watch industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, those are updates.
Anyways, you added something in here about Hailee Steinfeld's wedding. For those who didn't listen last week, actress Hailee Steinfeld married Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen in Santa Barbara at the San Ysidro Ranch. And there was a surprising guest there that we chatted about.
Larry David.
Yes.
The creator of Seinfeld and Curb Your Enthusiasm. And he was there. And we couldn't find any sort of IMDb linking him and Hailee, who's an actress, so, that would make sense. But we didn't find that. Somebody commented on our YouTube show last week and said that Hailee Steinfeld's dad is a personal trainer.
Right.
And he trains Larry David. Now, I have been able to verify that her dad is a personal trainer. I don't know that he trains Larry David for a fact, but I also don't know why else Larry David would be there.
Yeah, why else would he be
He's a
there?
Jets fan.
Yeah, because it's like at any wedding, your parents get a couple invites.
Exactly.
I'm sure there was drama about that too. If anyone's gotten married and parents, how many invites do the parents get? They want to bring all their friends. Well, they can only have so many friends.
Right.
So I feel like there's probably something there. And he's like, let me bring Larry.
Well, very smart play on his part. Because he's like, I want to bring some friends. And they're like, oh, it can't be George from college. Like, he gets blackout. And he's like, well, I want to bring Larry David.
Yeah.
And that's a cool enough guest that your kids are going to be like, great.
Yeah, that is a great guest to have.
It's really smart.
Yeah, no, he's
So-
good for the room.
Parents, if your kids are getting married and you know someone famous, invite them.
Bring him.
There you go.
Bring him.
Also, one other thing about Hailee Steinfeld.
What?
She posted on Instagram a picture of her and Josh at the after party. You saw it.
Yes.
And then you swipe to the next picture. It's a 2-photo carousel. And it says, all photos from Bow Society, which longtime listeners will know is her newsletter.
Yep.
But then didn't send a newsletter with photos, didn't post any other photos, and made the caption was like, if you see photos, make sure you comment on the outlet that they come from Bow Society so that we get credit. But I'm like, I can't find any other
Well,
pictures.
there aren't any other photos, no. And that, I think, just furthers our point that it's definitely going to be a Vogue exclusive, which is why the photos haven't come out yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm sorry, but Hailee, I know your newsletter is successful, and I'm sure you'll be putting some photos in the Bow Society weekly drop. However, if Vogue is calling you for an exclusive, I think you're going to take the Vogue exclusive versus a Bow Society exclusive. If I had to guess.
Yeah. I think
If I had to guess. I feel like my theory is she'll put after party photos in the newsletter.
Oh, brilliant.
Like photo booth photos. But then Vogue will get like the
getting ready,
the fancy photos.
Yeah, no, I think you're so right. The
Yeah.
Jose Avila photos.
If you know, you know.
Beau Society, it's just occurred to me, sounds like a fake magazine that, you know, someone in a teen movie in the 90s or early 2000s starts.
Yes.
Or an AI generated lifestyle brand.
Yes. Yes.
Beau Society.
It also reminds me there was a girl in my sorority. Yes, I was in a sorority.
Wow. Here we go.
Let me pull up the name because I need to. Yes.
No.
A girl that was in my sorority started a brand called Kiss My Southern Sass, and it was very successful. I don't know if she still sells. I'm checking. It reminds me of that. I don't know.
Kiss My Southern Sass?
Oh, okay. Wow. She's now influencing it looks like, but at the time she sold merch, and it just reminds me. It was like, you know, like tank tops and stuff.
That's like, I was cleaning up my
Anyways,
storage
she was in
unit
my
the other
sorority.
day, and
Yeah.
I found a beer koozie that someone gave me.
Oh no.
That said sluts,
What?
Southern ladies. Oh no, now I can't remember the acronym, but Southern ladies. Never mind, let's cut that. Southern ladies under tremendous stress.
That's me. Oh my God! Wait, that's funny. I never got that.
I meant to bring it out of storage.
I did send Charlotte recently some funny dress. Like we had like presentations of like what to wear to formal, what to wear to rush. Charlotte was shocked.
Could not believe that was real.
It was real.
Someday we'll do a deep dive.
Oh my God! I mean, during Rush Talk is like a whole. That's like a sport.
Well, right. I've watched Rush Talk, but to see the PowerPoint presentation
It's
you
crazy.
got was
It's real.
a whole
It's
other.
real. I wasn't for the record. I wasn't a great sorority sister. I parted my hair down the middle. Like, let's be real. I didn't fit the part. Quite literally.
Wow. Quite
Like,
literally.
let's be real.
No, I'm
At Georgia, me in a sorority. Can you picture it?
No, and I like that you tried. It's sort of adorable that you were like, let me give this a shot.
I ended up quitting. I was in it, I think, like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I did live in the sorority house.
What?
I know.
Did you get your meals cooked for you?
Oh, yeah, and it was good. It was good food. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, for my sorority sisters who are listening, summer.
My Northeast liberal ass can't even.
Can
my
you believe
Northeast
I was in a
liberal
sorority?
sass can't even begin to understand that.
Kiss my southern,
Kiss
my northern sass.
All right.
Okay.
Let's talk about tennis.
Yes.
There was some really good tennis over the weekend.
Yes.
The French Open, Roland Garros.
Did they change the name? I feel like TNT kept calling it Roland Garros. In my mind, it's always been the French Open.
It is.
Why do they keep labeling it Roland Garros? Like that's the name of the tournament.
Okay,
Does anyone who knows tennis know about this? Because I swear they've like pivoted away from calling it the French Open. Maybe I'm just like,
I thought Roland Garros. Oh, no.
Roland Garros is
the
like
French Open, also known as Roland Garros.
Yes, but it's like I feel like this year in particular, they have been pushing it hard that the name of the tournament that everyone knows is Roland Garros. I'm like, it's the French Open.
Yeah, but
Am I going crazy?
no, because I also was like, wait, is it not actually called the French Open?
That's what I know.
Because they said Roland Garros so much.
I know.
Also, on an NBA broadcast before the finals, when TNT still had it, Stan Van Gundy, one of the commentators, was like, and next week, Roland Garros.
Yeah.
And my husband and I keep saying that to each other. Roland Garros.
I know. Well, because TNT, I think, got the rights
They
this
did.
year.
Yeah.
To the French Open / Roland Garros.
Anyway, so
Anyways,
it
they
happened.
lucked out because it was some very exciting tennis. Very
Yes.
dramatic.
Yes, you had Coco Gauff, who beat Aryna Sabalenka. It was a number 2 against the world number 1 for the first time in a long time. It was 2 years after Coco's first Grand Slam win at the 2023 U.S. Open. And Coco lost the first set, but then won the second two to win it.
Yeah.
And speaking of Spike Lee, he was there.
He was there.
Tennis side.
I love that.
Courtside, I guess.
Courtside.
Wearing a Yankees hat. She
Yep.
hugged him. She also quoted Tyler, the Creator, which I thought was
So Gen Z.
So Gen Z.
So Gen Z.
So fun.
I love
at
it.
like a stuffy tennis thing.
Yeah.
She said, if I ever told you I had a doubt inside me, I must be lying. She said, I think I was lying to myself and I absolutely could do it.
Yeah.
You posted on your story a comparison to Serena Williams.
Yes.
that also blew my mind.
Yes, I can't remember the exact stat, but it was basically that Serena and Coco have won the same majors. It was like the U.S. Open and then the French Open for the first time at the same ages, I believe, is what it was.
Crazy.
Which is crazy. And I also think when we get to men, spoiler alert, that the person, I won't say his name yet, who won.
I mean, you can.
Can I not? It's I guess people
like
know.
If people
by
are
now.
listening to this, they might know.
Carlos Alcaraz. Spoiler alert.
I'm like, no, it happened.
It did happen. He won the French Open at the exact same age, like apparently to the day or something, as Rafa Nadal.
No way.
Yeah,
His
also Spaniard.
His Spanish countryman.
His Spaniard usher into the world of tennis.
Yes.
His I don't even know.
Godfather.
His
tennis-
protege.
There you go.
Protege.
There you go.
But there was a lot of drama during the women's match because Sabalenka, who's known for being a little bit more animated,
She's a hothead. And she would say that. So
she was getting really frustrated with herself, yelling at her box, which she has done before. This is not a new thing. Coco was locked in. I swear, didn't even show a glimmer of any emotion, positive or negative at all, during the entire match.
I think that was as impressive a physical performance, a mental performance as a physical
easily,
one.
Because you were down there by yourself.
Tennis is insane. Tennis
crazy.
is like mental torture.
Yes.
You have to stay locked in, and Sabalenka played, I think it was 70 unforced errors.
Yeah, it was not good.
Most of her career. She said the weather was bad. But Coco...
Which, can I say something? Blaming the weather.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sabalenka, listen, I am not a professional tennis player, but you got to own up to your mistakes. You play in all weather. That's part of the job. That's your job. Your workplace is outside sometimes, unfortunately.
It's like...
You got to kind of get used to it. So blaming the weather, I'm like, don't say that. Just say I had a bad match.
Well,
I didn't play
also,
great. Just own
Coco
it.
was playing in the same weather.
Correct. The
It's
entire
like-
tournament.
You know what's actually sort of funny? Quick detour.
What?
Working outside is sort of like when your teacher, you'd be like, "Can we have class outside?"
Yes.
If they said yes, I was like, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
You
Bring
maybe
your
that's-
piece of paper, be rustling in the wind.
Yeah, maybe that's why I loved the New York Philharmonic outside so much, because it felt like class outside.
It did.
Anyway, so Sabalenka, she said in her press conference, first of all, she said that she thought Iga Swiatek, who Coco beat to get to the finals, would have beat Coco in a final match, which is what?
So I don't even. Was
Coco
that
already-
passive aggressive or just aggressive?
I don't know. I was just like,
Wasn't
what?
nice.
And she also said, that Sabalenka said she played horribly. She also said, Coco would hit the ball off the frame of her racket and it would go in. It felt like a joke. Basically, downplaying what Coco did.
Yeah.
To win.
Right.
And then she walked it back. She posted on her Instagram story, yesterday was a tough one. Coco handled the conditions much better than I did and fully deserved the win. She was a better player yesterday. She said, you know me, I'm always going to be honest and human in how I process these moments. I made over 70 unforced errors, so I can't pretend it was a great day for me. Both things can be true. I didn't play my best. Coco stepped up. And I just think that we should make a little bit of a distinction here between being honest and human and being kind of just mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like such a classic excuse of well, I'm just being me. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, you're just being an asshole.
No, you're just being mean. You're just being mean. I felt like her responses in those press conferences, it was just.
And I
was
get it.
mean.
You're under tremendous stress. You
Yeah.
are also sad that you didn't win, but that's a part of sports, baby.
Sorry. Get a better mental coach.
Yeah.
Coco is locked in. My favorite thing about Coco playing tennis, if you've watched a lot of her tennis, her dad never sits in the box. Her dad is always pacing in the hallway, which I totally empathize with. If I had a kid who was in the finals of a Grand Slam, I would not be there. I'd be like, I can't watch this.
He watches on an iPad.
Yeah.
And he sends texts to her coaches who are sitting there to
Yeah.
be like, hey, I think she could do this better.
They're like, we know.
Oh my God, I love watching her parents when she wins.
Oh, it's so great.
It's so cute.
It's so
They're
sweet.
so happy.
I know. They're jazzed.
And she is just such a delight to follow as an athlete. Her social media is really fun. I love that she was taking social videos after she won.
Yes.
She put the phone down on a bench and had her trophy and did a little thing and picked the phone up and twirled around. And
So
I was
good.
like, that is acting her age in a really great way because she just won a major Grand Slam.
Yeah, I love it. She's still Gen Z at the end of the day. One of my favorite things, I don't know if you saw this, she posted this after she won. She's on a private jet, casual, as she should be. And she's showing the trophy that she gets for winning Roland Garros, a.k.a. French Open. And the one she's holding up, it has like two handles. You know, it's got like a lid.
After she wins.
Yeah, after she wins at the actual match is a fairly big trophy.
It looked heavy.
The one they get is like, it looks like a participation trophy you'd get for your YMCA basketball. Like, what are we doing here, French Open?
She compared it to, she put a small Perrier seltzer bottle next to it, and it was like kind of the same size.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love that.
I got bigger trophies for youth soccer.
That's what I'm saying.
I got some pretty sick trophies.
Remember the
for
ones?
youth soccer.
You remember the ones that they'd be like multiple tiers?
Yes.
They're like gold plastic.
Those were awesome.
So good.
I had a lot of the ones that were just like a sort of plastic gold column, and then, you know, the soccer player mid-kick on top.
You know what? There's nothing like an end of season pizza party with your soccer team, basketball, volleyball, whatever, as a kid, and you'd get your trophies at a pizza place.
Awesome.
You know, is there anything better?
We should bring back, like, we should normalize as an adult putting your participation trophies in your home.
Yes.
That's it.
I also think we should throw a pizza party with like gossip awards. I'm just making this up.
Oh my God, we should. Oh,
That would
that's
be fun.
brilliant.
Anyways.
Speaking of that studio, if we ever get one, we should put some participation trophies in there.
Yes. We should do like we'll talk about this later.
Okay.
I'll offline. I don't want to spoil an idea.
All right, love it. All right, let's talk about the men here.
So the men's match went on for over 5 hours. It is, I believe, the second longest Grand Slam final, or third, or so. It's long.
No, I think second.
Second. I think it was second behind a
Ever.
Djokovic match. I think it was an Australian.
5 hours and like 29 minutes.
Bananas.
Which is harder than a marathon.
It is so hard. You know, I saw Andy Murray. I saw a clip on social. Andy Murray, former retired great men's tennis player.
And people forget, former coach of Novak Djokovic.
Yes, which we did talk about.
For maybe 4 months.
Yes. He was talking about, he's like, listen, obviously I played tennis, I'm biased, blah, 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 blah. But he's like, I think tennis players maybe are the best athletes. Like, to play 5 hours by yourself, not a team sport where you have other people helping you, just by yourself. You're out there alone on a court. You can pee a couple times, but like, you can't really get a snack break.
I agree with him, because also it's like, okay, so most people run a marathon in, say, if you're good, not a pro, but good, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
Now imagine you are moving around, but you're doing a HIIT workout for 5 hours and 29 minutes, because this is a full body situation.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
It really, I guess maybe the older I get too, the more impressive it is to me, or the more I marvel at the physical. Because when you're a kid, you're just like, first of all, you have a lot of energy. Your back doesn't hurt. You're like, oh, it would be fun to play a sport for a living.
Right.
Now I am truly mind blown.
No, I cannot imagine. Cannot imagine.
No, absolutely.
I'd be exhausted sitting in the seat. I sat through a long baseball game once. It was a Dodgers game that went to like 14 innings. And Cutter and I were like, I'm exhausted. And that's baseball. They're not moving around that much.
You were sitting there.
And we were sitting. We weren't participating.
No, it's true.
It's crazy.
What Alcaraz did was so impressive. He came back from 2 sets down and saved 3 championship points to defend. He won last year. He won the French Open last year as well, to defend his win. And Spaniards, you said it, Rafael Nadal. I think Rafael Nadal and Carlos Alcaraz have won, most of the past French Opens over the last 20 years.
Yeah. Those Spaniards love a clay court.
Spaniards, good on clay.
Good on clay.
I love a clay court.
I love a clay court.
I prefer a clay court to a hard court.
Ooh.
It's a little easier on your knees.
Okay, I would agree.
More give.
A little softer.
Ball sometimes feels like it goes maybe slightly slower.
Yes. Well, I think it does.
Although Alcaraz did get a piece of clay in his eye.
Ooh, ow.
So,
ouchies.
Work hazard. Workers' comp. Also, did you see this? This cracked me up. My friend Saidi sent this to me, who sends me a lot of tennis gossip, and I'm very grateful for. Apparently, Alcaraz has a barber whose name is Victor Barber.
No.
And I don't know if that's his barber name or his name.
I would hope it's his name.
Like Travis Kelce's barber, his name is Patty Cutts. And I assume his last name isn't Cutts.
No.
And also, this is how broken my brain is that I know the name of Travis Kelce's Barber.
And that's why you started the Sports Gossip Show, of course.
There you go. Right. That's why we're doing this. However, so his name is Victor Barber, and fans were really nervous when they saw him flying to Paris in the middle of the French Open because Carlos's hair was looking really good. And apparently fans think this guy just gives him horrible haircuts. Like there is a picture of the back of Alcaraz's head where it's just like completely, the fade is like completely uneven. But they were all very relieved when he cut his hair in the middle of the French Open and won anyway.
Wait. He cut it in, what do you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean just in the middle of the tournament?
Yeah, look.
Okay.
Sorry.
I was like, I don't think there's a rule where you can get a haircut mid-match, but I would love if that was the case.
No, look at this.
Oh.
It's like
Oh,
not
no.
great. Look at it before. So that's after.
Okay.
And hold on. Oh.
Well, too many
whatever.
links.
It was like a nice,
I believe
long,
you.
good-looking haircut.
Well, can I say something, though? I actually thought his hair looked like it needed to be thinned out on the top a little bit at that French Open. I actually said that to Cutter.
Well, so you agree, Victor Barber, maybe not the best
I think
barber.
as someone with thick hair, sometimes you got to thin it out a little bit or it gets a little poofy. And I do think
Yes.
Victor, I think he needs to thin out. I'm not a hairstylist.
No, but
I don't know.
my guy Walton always says, I need to thin out your hair a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm always like, no, I like it this way. And he's like, can you just
I
trust
know.
me? And then he does, and it looks better.
And then you're like, you're right.
You're right.
Yeah. Anyways.
I have some things, though, to say about Yannick Sinner.
Oh, yes.
You do, too. We both do, obviously. Yannick Sinner, he's Italian, Northern Italian, 23 years old. He lost the match. He himself made comparisons to looking like Luigi from Mario Kart because he was wearing a green shirt with a white collar, which I sort of like.
I
he looks
I
like
really
a German
like that.
schoolboy, but I sort of like.
No. That Nike, you should make that as like a long sleeve polo situation.
I would buy that.
Just saying.
Also, I liked Alcaraz's Nike stripes.
Yes.
There was a
No, it
sort
was
of
very chic.
preppy
I loved it.
thing going on.
Yeah.
But something he's obvious. This is his first tournament back from a suspension. Can you tell people what that? You wrote a great newsletter about this. When
he was suspended for allegedly doping, but the suspension was really short. Mm-hmm. That's the TLDR. And people were mad because they compared it to, if you recall, Maria Sharapova famously cheated, may or may not have cheated, and had, I think, like 2 years, 3 years.
Yes.
It was a really long suspension. So Sinner's suspension was only 90 days. Which at the time, and he was like, I didn't do it, but
he was like, it was a trace amount.
Yeah. But I'm just like, come on, dude. Really?
But he's also the world number one, and they wanted him to be back.
Exactly. So there's all this, like, is it goes all the way to the top, that the ATP was like, or whatever, the governing body, USTA, I don't know who decided this, was like, well, we need to keep him in. Because here's the thing, all these greats, Roger Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Andy Murray, we're getting older, we're going to be retired. Like, they need the next face of tennis.
Yes.
Hence why they also did that Netflix series about tennis players, if you recall. I don't remember if Sinner was in it, but they're like trying to bring more attention to tennis when all these greats are going to be retiring.
And, this is something I've been thinking about a lot because of the NBA Finals as well, where you have two teams that haven't been in the finals in a really long time. Both have never won a championship, and it's like the only thing, in my opinion, that can create real new, quote, faces of the league or faces of tennis is time.
Yeah.
You just need time for the Thunder and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to become household names. You need time for Yannick Sinner and Carlos Alcaraz to become household names. You need time for Coco Gauff and Sabalenka to become household names. And we're getting to a point where I think that's happening.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it takes at least like 3 years of seeing the same people over and over.
Yeah.
And them winning multiple championships to be like, oh, okay.
Well, and we got to remind ourselves that they're all very young.
Coco's 21.
21.
Sinner's 23.
I think
Alcaraz is 21.
Yeah. They're young.
It's exciting, folks. The league and the tennis are in good hands.
Good hands.
Something that really cracked me up, though, was when Sinner came back from his suspension and he gave a press conference in Italy. And he had previously been photographed with a model named Lara Leto. Or Leto, I think. She'd previously had a 6-year relationship with the actor Adrian Brody.
So random.
And also linked to another French actor. And Sinner had been dating a Russian tennis player, Anna Kalinskaya. And he confirmed that in May of 2024. But he was pictured with this different woman a couple weeks before his suspension was over. So on May 5th, one of the first things he said in his press conference, he said there'd been a lot of attention to the off the courts part of his life. He said, I was very surprised to see some pictures, which, nothing serious. I'm not in a relationship, so whoever is asking, that's it. It's all good. He came out of his suspension and was like, I'm single.
He's single and ready to mingle.
Which I would argue is as good a tactic as Tom Brady posting thirst traps and pinning them to the top of his profile.
Easily. Also, it pivots the conversation away from what the suspension was about, which is doping, allegedly.
Way better to be asked about your girlfriend than about the
he was
trace
like, let's
amounts of...
Yeah.
I think it's really important that people use their platform for good.
For good.
So, Sinner.
So, thank you, Sinner.
He also met the Pope.
He did?
Yeah, he met the Pope, gave him 2 tennis rackets because apparently Pope Leo played tennis. I don't know if you're still allowed to play as the Pope.
I don't know.
Sinner also gave the Pope a card, like a credit card looking piece of plastic that was like free admission to any ATP event.
Stop.
I don't think the Pope needs that.
I'm pretty sure he could just show up and they're like, which box would you like to sit in, sir?
It's not like Movie Pass.
No. Oh my God, Movie Pass.
Did you have it?
Hell yeah, I had Movie Pass.
I didn't have it.
Oh, it was great. It was great. I remember using them being like, how is this company making money?
Right.
There's no way.
And then it didn't.
And it didn't. Spoiler alert. They didn't make money. Anyways,
all right.
Switching gears to a man we unfortunately have to discuss. Our man, Aaron Rodgers, is officially playing for the Steelers.
Yeah. Well, which for us, great.
Yes.
Because.
No podcast.
Right.
Thank God.
He won't start a podcast. I mean, he could still start a podcast, but
it's unlikely.
Historically, Aaron Rodgers has not had a podcast while he plays.
No,
he does go on the Pat McAfee show once a week, which is plenty.
That's plenty of podcasting for him.
But he doesn't have his own show.
No.
Secondly, great for content for us. Thirdly, this man, there was a thing recently about how he doesn't wear Bluetooth headphones because he thinks it messes with his brainwaves. He only wears corded.
That feels so LA.
Headphones.
It feels so LA. I have heard too many people in LA say things like that. Or like 5G is ruining your brain.
That's like some QAnon. So also,
don't get me started.
I would like to say that if something like I know enough people who would benefit from their brainwaves being messed with that like maybe try them out. Like what if it makes you better? I don't know.
Are you saying Aaron Rodgers should have 5G interference?
I'm just saying if it's real, which it's not, maybe it could jostle a few things around.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he signed a 1-year, $13.65 million deal. He has $10 million guaranteed, and it can be worth up to $19.5 million with incentives.
Wow.
He was wearing his wedding ring when he signed this.
Yes. Or it's an Oura ring for sure. I mean, zooming in on that photo, but it still could be a wedding ring or a ring situation.
Is it on his wedding ring?
Yeah,
photo?
I think so. Here's what I'll say to maybe further the point that he is maybe potentially married is because I saw an interview. You're going to be like, why are you bringing this man up? Seth Meyers was in a Bon Appetit video recently that I'm watching about. It was like restaurant things that annoy him. I don't.
Yes.
Pet peeves in restaurant.
Tyler was telling me about this.
Were you targeted in this video?
No, but Tyler was.
Oh yeah. Well, Charlotte's husband knows every single restaurant. Shout out Tyler. He's always on top of them.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised he got served this video as well. And he is wearing his wedding ring, and then it looks like he has an Oura ring on top of his wedding ring on his ring finger.
Seth Meyers?
Yes.
That's some of the lamest.
So my point being, if he's doing that, and we know for sure Seth Meyers is married, we know that for a fact to a woman named Alexi.
Put an Oura ring over his wedding band?
That's what it looks like. I could be wrong. I'll go check this afterwards, but it looks like it. So what I'm saying is if Aaron Rodgers is also intentionally putting on a ring finger, like that feels intentional. Even if it is an Oura ring, it feels intentional.
Especially because Dumois, the famously reliable online.
Famously reliable.
They did report that someone saw him with a short blonde woman who had an engagement ring and a wedding ring on.
Okay.
And Brittany with an I feels like that might fit the description. One thing that I will say about wearable tech is...
What? You calling it wearable tech? Okay, TechCrunch. Did you go to the Worldwide Developers Conference yesterday when Apple unveiled that crazy new UX? Can we talk about that? Did you see
I
that?
didn't see it.
They do their thing when they unveil like new features and whatever. They have like this new, it's like a glass looking feature on your iPhone, and it's going to update where it's like it's almost see through so you can see what's behind it. It is such a weird update, Apple. I love Apple and Mac. I am ride or die. But what are we doing with this update?
I have to go check it out.
Go look at it. It's going to throw off your wearable tech.
I've never said those two words together in my life. Wearable tech. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The Verge. So I can't even. Oh,
what about wearable
tech? Here's
tech?
what I was going to say.
Yeah, hit me.
I don't want anybody tracking my movements. That's it.
Okay.
However, if you're going to wear it, my mom has been known to wear an Apple Watch with her beautiful normal watch.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's
chic.
kind of a sneaky chic way to do it.
I
so
do
I
love
sort
that.
of respect Seth Meyers for just doing the wearable tech
with the
wedding band.
Or you can wear like an Oura ring just at night. You could just sleep with it if you want to track.
I'm just not
sleep
terribly
habits.
interested in tracking anything about my body.
Fair enough.
I don't need to know how I sleep because I know how I sleep because I either slept well or I didn't. I'm tired or I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to know like what calories I'm burning because I'm burning them or I'm not.
Fair
I
enough.
don't want to know about how my body works.
And that's Charlotte's TED Talk on wearable tech.
Thank you for coming. All
Wow.
right. As we promised, we would talk about this.
Oh my God.
The Knicks fired head coach Tom Thibodeau. And basketball-wise, here's what I will say. He got them farther than they have been in the past 25 years to the Eastern Conference Finals. I do think that there is some coaching changes that needed to be made in terms of the schemes they were running and the way they were using people, and he made adjustments way too late in the game when they were already in the Eastern Conference Finals. Thank you, Tibbs, for your service on behalf of all Knicks fans. I am not one. But also the thing that I'm more interested in talking about is that all the Knicks were clubbing hours before he was fired.
Yes. They were clubbing. They had the sparklers. They had a sign. I think the waitresses or bottle service women, whatever their job title is, were bringing around one of those lit up signs. And I think it said like Knicks in the finals next year or something like that.
It said finals 2026.
That's what it said, which I do love. Do you think they were partying because they knew he got fired?
No, I don't think they knew.
Oh, they didn't know. Oh, they didn't know.
It's like the kombucha lady. I don't know because reports came out that some players were in meetings with James Dolan, the owner of the Knicks, and the front office.
Oh.
So maybe there were some player complaints. We talked about this a couple shows ago. Leon Rose, the president of the Knicks, is Jalen Brunson's godfather.
Yeah.
And Tom Thibodeau was his dad, Rick Brunson, who is also a coach on the Knicks, has worked for Tom Thibodeau at most of the coaching stops he's been at.
Right.
So now I guess my other question is if Tibbs was fired, what happens to Jalen's dad? Because it made sense for him to be on the staff when the guy that he always worked for was the head coach.
Of course.
But now your new coach coming in, do you keep him on the staff? Because it's hard to fire your star player's dad.
It's hard to fire your star player's dad. However, if you think about a new administration coming in, cleaning house, as they often do in elections, in public office, you don't want to keep the other people around.
You don't say.
You don't say.
You don't say. Right.
So
and it
I'm
might
like,
be good not to have the star player's dad.
Right.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. But I do wonder if the new head coach, whoever it becomes, does fire Jalen's dad, if Jalen's going to be mad and then be like, I want out. I took a pay cut for this team. You're not letting my dad coach me anymore. I'm out.
My dad's not around.
Will that cause a rift?
Yeah. Well,
probably.
I don't know how it doesn't.
I don't know how
Very
it doesn't
intrigued as to how this goes. Also, do you think that the Knicks were partying together to quell any rumors of them not liking each other as these reports have come out that they're annoyed with each other?
Maybe, but I also I didn't see enough footage from that event to confirm that they were all hanging out the entire time together. They could have been in the same room, but they might not have been hanging out together the
They
entire
were
time.
taking pictures together.
That doesn't mean anything.
Right.
You have to do, at a job, you have to do corporate sponsored activities together, like building a house out of toothpicks as bonding.
What?
Oh, I had to do that at a job.
Who
once.
hurt you?
I had to do that at a job once.
A house out of toothpicks?
Yes, it was like a bonding communication activity. I know there are other people out there who have had to do this at a corporate job.
Like daycare for adults, like building
isn't
out
that
of
any
popsicle sticks?
job if you think about it?
Any job really is.
It's just daycare for adults.
It's like, oh, what are we going to do
Wait,
in
so then
gym
what
all
is-
day?
What are we doing?
This is okay. If most jobs are daycare for adult, this is like a play date for adults. Our job,
it's a weekly play date.
Our job is that we are just constantly in a free period in high school.
Yes, spot on.
We're still in high school.
We're in high school,
but we are not in class.
No.
The way other people have to be in class,
No,
and I feel very lucky about that.
Yes, same.
Also, one last thing about the Knicks. Jalen Brunson went to the Atlantic City truck meet to support his teammate Mitchell Robinson, who has many huge jacked up trucks.
Yes.
Go to Mitchell Robbins' social media, go to his Instagram, and just watch the truck videos.
It's incredible.
It's mesmerizing. You can kill a bunch of hours on
Oh, many hours.
while you're at your daycare for adults.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Highly recommend.
That's it.
Well, I think we should end on some soccer drama.
Hell yeah.
Because there's a lot of soccer drama that has come out in really the past 24 hours.
Okay.
So Landon Donovan, do you know who that is?
Yes.
He is the former men's soccer star for the U.S. I feel like he was like the 2000s era.
Yes. He was part of when MLS was like kind of breaking through or trying to, and people like knew the name Landon Donovan.
Yes. So Landon Donovan recently basically kind of poked or passive aggressively made some negative comments about current U.S. men's soccer players for their decision to sit out the Gold Cup. And it's basically a bunch of national teams competing to win the Gold Cup. And there are a lot of American players and players from other countries who sit out these tournaments because they need to rest. The season is too long in their European club teams that they're playing for, and they just don't want to do it. So Landon Donovan, after he was a commentator on Fox Sports, was basically saying comments after Cristiano Ronaldo played for Portugal and they beat Spain in a cup championship sort of game that happened on Sunday.
Okay.
And so Donovan said, quote, "This is what it means to represent your country. If you don't want to take it seriously as a professional soccer player and someone who gets the opportunity to wear the jersey, then don't come in. Cristiano Ronaldo is 40 years old. He played a long season. He was out there grinding and got hurt in the process. And I can't help but think about our guys on vacation not wanting to play in Gold Cup. It's pissing me off." So, okay, he says all of that.
Okay.
So, obviously, U.S. men's national players who play on club teams abroad were like, dude, come on. So, one of those players, Weston McKennie, came to the defense of Christian Pulisic, who is famously sitting out the Gold Cup. And he said, obviously, none of us take for granted playing for the national team. None of us want to lose games. All of us want to compete. And for me, it's a little bit, I won't say sad, but as a former national team player, I think as a national team player, pool, previous, present, I think it's more about trying to build or even say something like that to a person directly rather than putting it out there. That's just my opinion, because we've all been through those moments, even when comments about us losing the Nations League were made by many players from before, but they've had the same thing on a bigger stage with not qualifying for the World Cup. No names were named, coming off a long season, a stressful season. Obviously, some players feel a different way about it and some players feel another way, but the comments are comments. Everyone has their own opinions, and that's life, and that's football.
Wow.
So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. It's like, I understand these soccer players, their season with these club teams in Europe, like, is really long. Mm-hmm. They really rarely get a break, and then they have club obligations, and then they also have to play in the Club World Cup, which is at the same time as this Gold World Cup. So you got to pick. Do you play for your club team, or do you play in the Gold Cup?
Right.
You know? Or do you say, I'm not going to do either. I don't want to get injured, blah, 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 blah. Like, it's not like they're all going on vacation.
No, Landon Donovan also, part of this, he is a commentator for Fox Sports.
Right.
Fox Sports broadcasts the CONCACAF Gold Cup. It is very hard for me. I worked at Fox Sports. I know how much Fox Sports cares about Fox Sports properties. Yeah. If you work there, they are pushing you to push their properties, which I get it. All these networks do that.
Right.
But there's like it's like, we're on a team and we're Fox Sports and these are the properties that we have rights to. It's hard for me to separate his comments about, the best young players who are like, I need a break because my season is so insanely long.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to separate those from the fact that fewer people will watch this broadcast if the bigger stars aren't playing.
Right.
it gets a little messy for me there. If you're just a former player and you're like, look, also, I do have a problem. Anytime anyone says, like, you are lucky to wear the jersey to represent your country, I'm like, can we chill with the nationalist angle of sports? Like, I get it, but it's also like the country is lucky to have these people playing for them. Right. It's like, what? Right. So I think all of that taken together makes it hard for me to be like, also, it's like, I'm always going to be on the side of the workers.
I know. Me too.
You want to take it? You don't want to play in a CONCACAF Gold Cup? Okay.
Right. And here's the stat. So
I need a break too sometimes.
Exactly. Here's the stat. So he asked to be left off the roster after playing 120 games for club and country over 2 seasons. Come on. That's a lot of running. That's a lot,
crazy.
A lot of marathons running back and forth.
Also, it's not like Landon Donovan ever won a World Cup.
Correct.
Not that Christian Pulisic has either, but.
Yeah, but I would also say, like, shouldn't Landon, I don't know. I'm like, shouldn't Landon be happy that a lot of these American men's players are now playing abroad in these huge and important leagues?
Yeah.
You know, it's like they're not rinky-dink teams. They're clubs at these teams. Like, it's like Christian played for AC Milan.
I feel like
this other player played for Juventus.
I know.
These are like big clubs. These are not like rinky-dink organizations. So it's like, shouldn't you be happy that these players are now going abroad to play in like the best of the best soccer leagues in the world?
I think
and teams.
Yes, you should be, to get, recognition for when it is the men's national team. But like, I think there's also a lot of, let's make MLS better, or play for MLS, the, men's league here, which is not one of the greatest leagues by any stretch of the imagination. And so I could see there being a little bit of like, well, you don't even play in this country, so play for your country.
Right.
But it's also, I feel like, a lot of Fox Sports soccer commentators like to poke the bear a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not shocked. Also, Landon Donovan, he tied the world record for men with the most international assists. Like, he was a good player.
Yes.
But I don't know. It starts to feel like old man yelling at the sky.
Exactly. It's like these guys just need a break.
Yeah.
They also don't want to risk getting injured when it's like most of their job is playing for their club team.
Right.
It's not doing this random tournament for their country. That's, by the way, it's not the Olympics and it's not the World Cup. I'm not saying the Gold Cup is not important. Don't come for me. However, I will say, and I feel like people would agree with me, there's like the Olympics and the World Cup, and the Gold Cup is not at the same level of importance. Am I wrong?
I would be
not saying it's not important.
Hard pressed to find someone who would argue with you.
So it's like, yeah, if he was skipping out on the Olympics or something, okay, fine.
Right.
Fine.
Right.
I get it. I would be like, yeah, that's a problem. Or the World Cup, which he's not, by the way. He's not.
Yeah.
So
that's so true. It's all about the context.
Yeah.
It's like making the Gold Cup the Olympics. It's
right. It's like, it's not. Come on.
That is, I love U.S. soccer drama.
I know.
It's some of the best drama. I know we'll try to do more Premier League stuff. Frankly, it's hard to keep up with everything.
This season is so long, and there's so many like tournaments.
I don't understand
and, like, Champions
a lot
League.
of it. I gotta learn, but
Yeah.
I do love a good old fashioned U.S. men's national team drama,
yes.
because obviously we know the women are dominant. The men have sucked,
Yeah.
and so anytime that the stakes are feel lower because a team isn't as good, I think the drama is funnier.
Agreed.
All right, I know we said we would end on that, but real quick, you put something in here that I hadn't seen that I absolutely adored.
Yes.
The Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, who listeners of our show will remember Jerry Jones hired internally. It was not a splashy coach hire.
No.
But I'm starting to come around to it.
Oh, okay.
Because he took quarterback Dak Prescott and players Joe Milton, Will Greer, and their families to learn how to do Greek dancing.
Which I love.
I love that. First of all, I love when athletes dance.
Yes.
Second of all, this is the kind of workplace team building. We're seeing this circles back to the NBA Finals in that the two teams that are left seem to really like each other, seem to have a lot of time spent together.
Yes.
Homegrown teams that genuinely are in this with each other. And it is an example, instead of building toothpicks, like little houses out of toothpicks, take people dancing. And it actually is the sort of thing that can help, like, The Cowboys might win the Super Bowl now because Brian Schottenheimer took them Greek dancing with their families.
Charlotte is saying it here first. I think you're onto something. Yes.
Vibes.
Yes, it's vibes. It's all about vibes. If the vibes aren't there, they're not going to play well on the court or on the field. Period. Full stop.
End of story.
Yes. 100%. Wow.
So, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
On behalf of Cowboys fans everywhere, of which I am not one. So, all right.
I love it. I love it.
Great.
That's great.
Good stuff as always.
Great stuff this week. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for listening. And as always, please like and subscribe, rate and review. It makes a huge difference.
Huge difference.
We saw a lot of new reviews come in the past couple days, so thank you so much.
Did we?
Yes, we had a
that's
lot of
so
new
nice.
reviews.
I'm going to go
so
read
nice.
them. I get so excited.
They're so lovely.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
We'll catch you on the flip.
See you on the flip.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.